Welcome to another episode of my construction tips. What I do on this channel is to make construction content primarily used for architect, civil engineer, surveyor, and every other person involved in the construction industry. So those are the video I do on this channel. My video I also for clients who want to gain one or two insights on for beginning their construction work. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a video on how to calculate the volume of concrete for your column job. Probably if you want to do a column job, you are doing a column job, and we want to know how we calculate volume of concrete. We want to know the volume of concrete needed for that job. Yeah, this is why I'm doing this video. Now, also, I've also done a video on how to calculate the quantity of sand and cement and granite you need for a job. I've done that video. I will attach the link to that video. This one here. But on this video, majorly, I'm going to be doing how to quantify for your column work. And then in my last video as well, I did a video on how to calculate the reinforcement you need for your column job. If you are doing a column job, and want to calculate the reinforcement you need for that job, I've done that. And today I'm working on the concreting. So if you want to calculate the volume of concrete you need for the job, that's what I'm doing. In my subsequent video, I've also been doing a video on for slab and for brick, now how to calculate the reinforcement, the formwork, and the concrete. So I will still be doing that and putting it on my channel. Yeah, so at the end of this video, if you find the video interesting, can give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and also click on the notification button so that you'll be one of the first to be notified. I'll do something soon. Now join me in the video and let's begin. Just like usual, I'm still going to be using this drawing. So in my last video also, I did the reinforcement. I calculated for the reinforcement for this ground floor. And this one I'm going to be doing for this ground floor as well. So we are going to be calculating the quantity of concrete we need for this job, these columns. And as usual, I have 38 columns in total, so I'll be using a spreadsheet to do job. Now this is my table. I've come up with this table. I've done this earlier to make the work faster. I don't want to spend much time on this video. So volume of concrete calculation for column description, just like if you watch the previous video, things I will be saying in this video will be that strange to you. If description, now decision for the columns, that is the first thing I will do. Now for the columns, I have a column of 1000 by 300. This is type 1. I have 5 type on this drawing. I have type 1 to type 5. Okay, this is drawing. If you look at it, we are still at the ground floor layout. Now if you count, you see 38 columns here. So I have type 1 to type 5. So let's start on column type 1. Type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and type 5. Now the length of the column type 1 was the dimension. I have the length, width, and height, which is going to give me the dimension. So the length of this is 1 meter by 1000 by 300 mm. That is 1 meter by 0.3 mm. That's this is 1 meter. Is 300. Those are the dimension of the column. This as well, column type 2. I come to my drawing, do the same thing. Let's input 1 meter and by 300. Column type 3. This is 900 by 250. This is 900 mm, and this is 250. And type 4 is 900 by 225. This is 900 by 225. Type fastening to 30. 5 to 30 is just 5 mm difference. 600 by 2 to 5, 600 by 230, right? So this is the length and the width of the columns from the drawing. From the drawing, we are using this one. So this is the length and the width from the drawing. Now, the height. So how do we know the height at which we are going to cast, or the height we are going to? Now, to know the height, you don't just specify any height you come about. No, there is a way of getting the height, and you're going to cast depend on two things. Now, number one, it depends on the height from one floor to the next floor. Probably, as this job now is on the ground floor now, a ground floor from the floor slab of the ground floor to the first floor slab, what is the distance between them? And that is going to determine the height you are going to cast to. And another thing is the size, the depth of the beam on that particular column. The depth of the beam on that particular column will also tell you the height you are going to cast. So casting of column height depend on those two things. So this floor level this is the ground floor level. You can see it for me. This is the ground floor level. This is the first floor level, the second floor level. So from the top of this to beneath the slab here, it is 3450 mm. Then the thickness of the slab is 150 mm, meaning from this floor here, the top of this next floor is 3600, that's 3.6 meters. We have gotten this to be 3.6, but this is not what you are going to cast because there is still beam on it, so you need to remove that beam also, because the beam reinforcement are going to pass through the columns as well, so you need to remove that depth. Now, how do we get the depth of each beam? Now we need to go to the first floor. Now, the first floor will be imposed on the ground floor columns. So this is the ground floor column, this is the first floor beam, this is the first floor slab. It's going to be on this, so you need to remove some the depth, the size of the depth of the beam. Now let's go to the first floor. It means we are going to our first floor layout. Now let's go to the first floor layout. You can see from the description, this is the first floor layout. We are the first floor layout. Now, pertinent to what I was explaining, let me use a particular beam. Now this is beam 110, right? This beam 110, the dimension is 600 by 2 to 5, and we have it at line 1, 2, and 4. Line 1, 2, 4, and then that it has a cantilever at line 1, line 2, and line 4, right? So on the beam section, this is beam 110, right? Line 1, 2, and 4. Now, what's the size of this beam here? Now, if you look at the section, it is 10. Now let's go to section 10 of the steel. This is 600. How do I know this is 450 and this is 600? We are looking at it is 600 here. Yeah, at it here. They have the same size. So it is 600 beam. Now if you are placing a 600 beam on this column here, you are placing a 600 beam on it. That person is 600 beam on this way. So, and the floor to floor level is 3600 mm, that's 3.6 mm. And you want to remove the depth of this beam, which is 0.6 meter per minute. So what you are going to cast for the column is 3 meters. It is as simple as that. You are going to use the depth of the well, so you can also see some beam are also attached to this. This is 450, this is 450. We are going to use the depth of the deepest beam, depth of the first beam. Now let me use another example from here. So this is column type 3. Let's assume we want to do for column type 3. So this is 4 meters, and this is line 4. So this is beam 102. Beam 102. I'm particularly concerned about this particular one, although I don't have to look at the section because I've seen a beam of 750 here, I've seen a beam of 450, That's I mean the depth, and I'm seeing a beam of 600 and 600 surround this column. Understand? So I will just pick the depth of the deepest beam, which is 750. So that's going to give me 3.6 minus 0.75. It's going to give me 2.85. So let's say I'll be using 2.885 for the one that have this beam, then 3 meters for anyone that have 600 beam. You understand? That's how we are going to do it. That's how we do it. You understand? Now I can input this I to be 2850 for everything. I can decide to do it for everything, or take a look at every of the columns and decide to do the one that actually applies to it. But I'm going to use this for everything. Now, volume per column. Now, you've gotten the dimension, the length, the width, and the height. And you need to compute the volume per column in meter cube. I don't want to do it in mm because it's going to be much. Yeah. A meter cube, then meaning you use your, volume is length by weight by height. When you put my formula, the product of this, 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 then close the bracket, divide by 1 million, divide by 1 billion, enter. That is the formula I'm using. Why am I using this formula? Volume is length times width times height, right? But if I do this in millimeter cube, it's going to be much. So I've decided to convert my millimeter cube to a value in meter cube. That is going to be very easy for me to do. And having my answer in this. Okay, let me do for the other one and see what I mean. If I decide to do this, 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 enter, this value I'm going to be having is that too much to me, so I prefer to use this. So when you drag this down, it's going to input the others for you because you have the formula written down already. So it's going to help you multiply out and get that. So number of this is a volume per column. In case we are casting just one of the column type 2, this is the volume function we need to batch or request for. We are casting from one of type 5. This is the volume we need to request for. Now, number of similar column from the drawing, I know this is 2. I know this is 5 from the previous video. If you check as well, I know this is 7. This is 6. This 18. Altogether, yeah, 88. Now, total volume, this is the total volume we need for the job. Now, total volume, I'm still going to input my formula, which is this multiplied by this. So, I'm going to input my product formula and make it this formula. This, enter. I drag down the formula. And Excel is going to multiply everything out for me. It's going to multiply everything. So what I've done here is to summarize everything. So we just have to solve this. So this is the total volume. Okay, I can come here and input a summation formula to sum everything up together. So okay, I click on this and I drag it down. Enter. Going to give me the total volume required for the job. So total volume required for the job is 21 cubic meter. So the quantity of concrete I need to batch or request for is 51 cubic meter, and it's going to complete this job for me. So in case you want to know, so this is just the volume, and in case you want to know the quantity of sand, granite, and cement you need for the job, I've done a video on that, and I'll add a link to the top and at the end of this video. So if you find this video interesting, you will give me a like and So click on the notification button soon. You'll be notified whenever I upload something useful. Thanks for watching.